Hello everyone, welcome back to Budget Freedom. My name is Jessica and today I wanted to go over my August closeout budget, my budget closeout, for August, and also opening our September budget for September 2020. I can't speak today. I'm going to go ahead and move the camera down so that you can see the workbook and follow along with what I'm talking about. All right. Okay everyone, this is our August month, so I'll go ahead and go back over here. Okay, so for August, I went ahead and closed out all my actual numbers compared to my budgeted numbers so that we could go over that and I could show you how I close it out and evaluate the month at the end of the month. So for my income, it did change a little bit. I ended up making 6,500 leva compared to the 6,100 that I was budgeting. So that's always good to make more than what you're expecting to make. Remember guys, I am self-employed, so my salary, I have one set salary and then the other amount of the salary does vary. If you are working on a budgeted amount, basically for a paycheck, this amount should be fairly close every single time. If you're working per hour, then obviously that can also vary. So what I do for my budget is I always budget on the lowest expected amounts, basically. You never budget on higher, even if you know that you're going to work overtime this month or you're going to get something extra from somewhere. Don't include it in your budget. Keep it as extra money until it is actually money in the bank. You've closed out your budget and you know that that's extra money. Because if you budget higher, then what happens if you make less money? Then your budget is going to be blown. So I always go lower, and then whatever extra comes in, that's a bonus, and we put that to savings or to investments or whatever else that we need it for. So I won't bore you and go through every single item that I have here. You can see I have all my usual items, a few extras like birthdays, it's not usually here. I went ahead and wrote down all the actuals. We had some wins, like my vitamins was $200 less than what I expected to pay. My electricity was $62 less than what I expected to pay. My dogs this month cost me $60 less than what I expected. I did go over on the food, and I did slightly go over by a few, like $1 or $2 here on the water and travel. Oh, my phone bill, sorry. So overall, I spent 683 leva more than what I had originally budgeted. Okay. Now, to explain to you why this happened is I go shopping every 2 weeks, and what happened in August is I had 3 Fridays. So I did my 2 normal shopping months in August, and then the last Friday of the month, I spent my budget is 600 for 2 weeks. I spent that money on the last day of August, but it was actually for the first 2 weeks of September. So I'm really happy with this money, this difference, because I know exactly what it's for. It's for the food for September. And I actually saved money on a lot of things. So for me, this is awesome and I'm happy with it. So originally my actual budgeted bills were supposed to be 5,931. My actual bills were 6,200. So if you see, the difference there wasn't big. From 6,200 to 5,900, it's about $300 difference. So I'm again, like I say, I'm happy. I did spend a little bit more than what I had budgeted, but I also made more money, and part of it was also going to September food bill. So overall, like I say, I'm really happy. So my actual difference, if you look down here at the bottom, my difference between my budgeted versus my actual. So what was my actual bills versus my budgeted bills versus my actual bills. The difference is $351.82. And that is actually money that I have left over because I made more money than what I had originally thought. I thought I was going to make 6,100 and I ended up making 6,500. Okay, but I spent 6,200. So the difference, $351.82. Where does that go? Straight to savings. Okay, so that's your August budget. You see how quick and easy it can be when you have your budget written out at the beginning of the month to go back and fill in all the details and just evaluate it and see if you're happy with the month and if you're staying on track. Quickly, just to show you guys again my expense tracker. I like to show you this every month. So I write down all my expenses. Then at the end of the month, I go ahead and I highlight them by color. I explained this before, but I don't like to use a whole lot of expense categories. I think it's confusing and unnecessary for a family, unless there's something that you really need to track. Like for me, I do have a category for vitamins because that's a high spending item for us and I like to keep track of it. Okay, so I have vitamins, I have other, and my other includes house bills, random things. Like when we go to the pharmacy, that's an other for me because we really don't go much. And most of these ones were for my dog or for, I had to buy some cream for my back. We did a few household purchases, not much again. I had to pay for some documents that we needed. Again, that's just like a random thing that doesn't usually happen. I ordered some ink cartridge and we put 50 bucks into the garden. We needed to reinforce our fence with Lewis cement. So you see, it's just like really random stuff. That's my other, okay? Because I'm not gonna create categories for all this random stuff when I don't need it. I do keep bank fees separately because I like to see what kind of bank fees I'm incurring every month, should I say. And then food is definitely a separate category for me. So we don't travel a lot, so I don't have travel expenses as a budgeted item here. We literally go to the shop twice a month, and then the other 4 times that we go, we walk to our veggie shop because it's really close. So we don't have a lot of travel expenses, but it's completely understandable. If you were driving to work every day, that would definitely be a category that I would have here. I would want to monitor my travel expenses, and that would include gas, oil changes, repair to the cars, any kind of licenses for the cars, like automobile expenses basically. If you have childcare fees, definitely want to track those kind of things. So I hope that gives you an idea of things that you need to track. If you put a lot of money into your kids every month as far as activities or after school activities or really just that kind of stuff, you could probably have a category for that. My kids are homeschooled, so again, I don't have that. Mine's really, really basic. So I go ahead and highlight it then by category, add up the totals, and then I can quickly see what my totals are, plug those in over here. So that's where I got my food total, plug that in, got my dog total, plug that in, got my other total, plug that in, got my vitamins, plug that in. And then the other expenses here are all either debited from my bank account, like the bills, like the internet and the water and electricity and all that, that's debited off my bank account. So I don't put that on my expense tracker because there's no need to. And then my sinking funds, which are all down here, these obviously are not debited. I do the transfer from my checking account to the savings account. So I don't put those on my expense tracker because I do that at the end of the month. And that's really all that I have. Mine is pretty basic. I used 2 expense trackers this month. We have our awesome calendar that we can keep up to date with. I didn't use my weekly budget this month. And then you can do your budget review. Did I stick to my budget? I'm happy the way that I stuck to my budget because, like I said, what I went over, it was for food for September, so it's completely understandable. Do you feel good that you got as close as you could to your budget? Yes. What can I do better next month? Not spend extra on miscellaneous stuff. I did spend a little bit extra on miscellaneous stuff last month, so I'll cut that down this month. Was this one of those months that could not be avoided and when you went over? I said yes, because the food, I had to buy it. I couldn't wait for it to be September to go buy it. So that's what happened. And also some of the miscellaneous stuff, it really just needed to be done. The windy season is coming here and I had to spend the money on repairing some of the things in the house so that our fence didn't fall over. Truth there. Okay, so that's August, guys. August is done. Let's go over to September. Let's read our quote for September. I like to do this every time. So this is from Babe Ruth, and it says, "Every strike brings me closer to the next home run." I really liked that quote and felt that it was pertinent when it comes to budgeting, because you strike out a lot. And it doesn't matter how many times you strike out as long as you keep working towards that next home run. So I really like that. It's inspiring for me. And I thought that it was nice for September. All right, quickly go look at September. Give you guys a quick run over. So our month is September. I filled that on my calendar. I put in my expected, that standard salary that I get, and then what I expect the extra income to be. Again, my total is usually 6,100. If I go over that, awesome. But we're gonna aim for that. And then I put all my standard bills here. So we have all our water, food, electricity, all that. Lotto, mortgage. Yeah, guys, I budget the lotto. If my husband wants to spend money on the lotto, he's got a limit, and that's it. If we don't win it on that, then we're not winning it. My yearly bills, I've covered this in another video. Just to remind you guys, it's right here in the front of my book. just go to it quickly. And it's got all the yearly stuff that we have to pay: medical insurance, life insurance, car insurance, house insurance, registrations that we have to pay for the cars, TV license. That's really all it is, and dog tax. So I write down the months when they need to be paid, what they are, the amounts, add up the total, divided by 12 months. So then I know that if I save $345.65 every single month, I have the money in a savings account to pay these bills when they come out, and there's no stress. So it is a type of sinking fund. It's a larger one. I call it my yearly bills fund. So I have that there. Then I have my savings, my miscellaneous, birthdays, and my other sinking funds that I'm saving for. So my total bills this month, I am budgeting 5,011 leva. If I make 6,1, which I will, probably more, my disposable income this month will be 1,088 lev. Okay. Now that is not disposable income, meaning I'm going to go spend that money. I write it here as disposable income because it is money that I don't have to pay on a certain bill, on specific bills, but I have my sinking funds. So I am going to split that money up with my sinking funds. And if there is anything left over, I will most likely put it to savings. But I do like to leave a little bit of room. I like to wait till the end of the month to see exactly how much I made. And then I split up the money into the appropriate sinking funds, and whatever extra is left over, I put that into savings. So I like to work on a combination of a zero-based budget and more of a 70-30-20 style budget. I like to combine things. I don't like to be so strict. I know it works for some people. Some people, it's much better to have a zero-based budget, but because I am self-employed and because my income varies, it's hard for me to do only zero-based budgeting, because if I make more, that's not a zero-based budget. In some months when I make less, again, I'm under budgeting. So I've had a lot of practice. I've been doing this for 15 years, so I combine it. The 70-30-20 rule is 70% of your income should go to bills and expenses, 30% to, sorry, not 7, it's not 7, it's 60-30-20, sorry guys, no, it's 50-30-20, 50-30-20, I'm sorry guys, I'm losing my mind today. So 50% of your income should go to bills and expenses, 30% should go to savings, and 20% should go to wants and sinking funds and other things like that. So I don't really worry about the percentages either, because I keep my bills as low as I possibly can. My bills are what they are. I pay them. I always try to look to, get a better deal on phone or whatever else it is. My mortgage is not going to change until I pay it down though. We obviously try to save on internet and all of that, but our bills are pretty low. So don't stress about that. We don't have any other debt except our mortgage at this point. So for me, basically, I just pay my bills, whatever's left over, put it to sinking funds and savings. So I'm almost on a 50-50 rule. I'm almost doing 50% of our income to bills and 50% to savings, but I'm not 100% there yet. If I had to guess off the top of my head, I would say that we are on about a 70-30 at this point. We're doing 70% bills and 30% savings. And I'm looking to obviously increase the savings to a lot more than that. All right, guys, so that's my September budget. I've already started my expense tracker, so keeping track of all my expenses. Like I said, I don't go and spend a lot, so this is actually from the last 2 weeks, and I'm not going out. No, I am going today to pick up 1 or 2 things, and then the big shopping is going to be next week, and I'll fill in the rest. I hope that this helps you guys, encourages you to get on your budgets and do your closeouts. Okay. I'm being transparent here, showing you how I do it and keep up to date with it. Oh, the other thing, before I close off here, I want to show you, let me put it back down here, how I update everything. So when I closed out my August budget, I almost forgot here. I came and I updated my year-to-date monthly comparison. So I put in my total, my actual income for August, my actual expenses for August, and then my total saved. And keep in mind, guys, we're going to fill this in every single month so that we can look at this next year. And especially for someone like me that's unemployed that has a variable income, this is super important, because I can see on a monthly basis, year on year, how much I expect to make, how much I expect to spend. and how much I can expect to save. It's also really great, like I say, for anybody that's working on an hourly rate, or even if you're working on a set salary, maybe you'll get an increase, or maybe you want to track your expenses more and your total savings more, even if your income stays the same. There's a lot of different uses for the sheet, and it's just really, really handy. I mean, you can already see here the difference in these 3 months. Like I was telling you, June and July are our driest months as far as income goes, and you'll see big numbers here in the winter. And that will help you to also budget for the next years, like me. Like next year, I'll be able to go, okay, I made about 4,000 in June, about 5, 6 in July, and then I can make sure that I base my budget off of previous year's numbers, and that will give me a lot more accurate budgeting as far as my variable income goes. And then as far as the spending goes, it's just awesome to see when you're spending less and when you're spending more, and how much you're saving, because that's encouraging, and it also helps you to monitor things and make sure that you don't let things get out of hand. Okay. And then our once-a-year bills, I did pay my life insurance this month, so I went ahead and ticked that off. And then I went over to my yearly tracker, and I updated all the expenses that I'm tracking. So I have this yearly tracker for expenses. So if you see here, this was more of an overall tracker. I was tracking my overall income, overall expenses, and overall savings. Here I'm breaking it down. So I want to see how much I'm paying for electricity every single month. Not only so that I know how to budget for the following years, but also so that I can monitor how much we're spending and make sure that we're not overspending on something like a utility bill, because that can really eat your money really fast. I also track my phone bill, our water, food. Food is a huge one to track. Make sure that you're seeing on average how much you're spending, where you're spending more, and to see a yearly total. I mean, it's really nice to be able to see, at the end of the year in December, how much did we spend this year on food? How much did we spend this year on electricity? It helps put things in perspective for you. I do have gas here. We don't use a lot of it, but when we do, I like to track it. Our vitamins, big spend item for me. The meats is a big spend item. Personal toiletries and stuff, again, organics, dogs. And then I like to keep track of some other high spending items like olive oil and pasta and my kids' school fees here. So you can have as many items that you want to track per month, but I did go in and fill in all my amounts for August. And at the end of September, I will fill in September. And by the end of the year, I'll be able to compare and see my totals for the year, and I'll do a video on that and show you. So that's really, really helpful to keep track of it. And you can just have a quick look at it. You can see here, okay, in the winter, I'm spending about $300 a month on electricity, but here in the summer months, I'm doing about $130 on average, $133, $139, $132. I had 1 month of $177 when it was pretty hot, using more air conditioning. But that gives you a nice budget. I can comfortably budget about $140 a month for electricity in the summer and feel comfortable with it. So that's how these charts can really help you get control and get a better understanding, a deeper understanding of your finances. And then the last thing that I updated, obviously, are my sinking funds, because we do have our debt planner here. Sorry, our debt planner and our credit card planner, but I'm not using them because I don't have them at the moment. So we have our sinking funds. Remember, I'm saving a large amount of money every month, $345, and then another $1,000 for my sinking funds. And what I do at the end of the month is I transfer that money to my sinking funds account, and I keep track of how much of that money. So let's say I have $2,500 in my sinking funds account. How much of that $2,500 is for my medical insurance? How much is for my life insurance? How much is for my yearly bills? How much is for savings? Well, savings I have a separate bank account for anyway. I'm saving for to pay a huge chunk on our mortgage. Some business funds that I'm saving, and then my birthday sinking funds. So I come here and I do track, update our sinking funds as well at the end of the month. And that's pretty much it. And then after that, I went ahead and jumped over to September, got our September budget ready, and I have started tracking September, and we will see you at the end of September. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.